Spartan races are a series of obstacle course races designed to test participants' endurance, strength, and mental toughness. They include a variety of challenging obstacles such as rope climbs, mud crawls, wall climbs, spear throws, and heavy carries. The races vary in difficulty and distance. I've been doing Spartan races since I had 15 years of age, and in 2023 I have decided that I'm going to execute the hardest obstacle course in the Spartan race series. This is the Spartan Ultra Race, which includes more than 50 kilometers, more than 60 obstacles, and more than 3000-meter elevation of wall-to-wall obstacle racing under a certain period of time. So I decided to sign myself up, and the journey had begun. The very first time I have come across the Catalyst project was in 2020 on Instagram. Their goal is to basically turn people into undestroyable, relentless athletes who are capable of anything. After numerous of talks, I have decided to join and the journey began. At first, it sounded almost impossible that by the end of our preparation, I'm gonna be able to run the length of the ultra, which was 52 km in total, but eventually I did. Under this period, I learned that fitness is much more than just doing pull-ups and butter rope. The Catalyst project showed me that I'm capable of things I never thought I would be able to do. We have trained for 9 months in total, and under this period I became an ultramarathonist by starting from 5k with my longest run, and by the end I was running 90 to 100 kilometers a week. It was just unreal. I have trained 6 times a week, and my preparation was mostly about long distance trail running, but also with strength sessions and prehab sessions included. My training started in the December of 2023, and we have finished by the race day, which was on the 31st of August of 2024. The race took place in Malino-Brdo in the Slovakian mountains, and we were looking at 30 to 40 degrees Celsius during the duration of the event. By the time I wasn't scared of anything anymore, I knew that I'm going to do my best, and I got the best preparation I could have possibly ever asked for. As we have arrived to Slovakia, we checked into the hotel the day before, and I have had one last video call with my head coach Dean and Adam, who have been guiding and supporting me during my preparation, and basically I was ready. The race day finally arrived, and with my prepared running vest filled with supplements, I geared up, had my breakfast, and I was ready to go. My start was at 8:30 am in the open category. As soon as we arrived at the festival area, the authenticity and the spirit hit at the same time. A reason why I love Sparta races is because the community and the environment has a very special mood effect that you cannot get anywhere else. It's just the coolest thing on the world. Before warming up, I had to attend the so-called transitioning area, where we had to place a chosen bin, which had to be packed with nutritional supplements and hydration for the duration of the event. We could attend this area twice throughout the race. I got my bracelets with the satnav, I put on the purple merch, and all I had to do now is to wait. As I was closing up to my start, I started warming up and just setting my head on the line for possibly the hardest thing I have ever done. We took several pictures, enjoyed the mood, and finally I went to the starting point. I walked around a bit before the start, just taking it all in. Spartans everywhere. Some looked like seasoned athletes, built like machines, others not so much. There were people of all shapes and sizes, mostly men, but also women, all with the same determined look. And I was just doing mental math trying to guess who I might end up racing alongside. Who's gonna crush this? Who might struggle? I even remember this one guy I saw online. He finished the race in tears. That image stuck with me. But despite all of the excitement, deep down I knew I was ready. I had the best physical and mental preparation from the Catalyst project. My body was conditioned, my mind was logged in, everything was in place, and I wasn't there to just get through. I finished with warming up, just a few minutes left until the start. My heart was steady, but my mind was racing. Flashes of every long run, brutal workout, every moment when I wanted to quit, but I didn't. All of it played back like a highlight reel in my head. Almost a year of grinding for this moment. All of a sudden my mother's voice cut through the void and she said, "Don't forget to enjoy it." After that the announcer counted down from 10 and I saw the purple smoke rise in front of us curling into the sky like a signal fire. It was time. We were led straight uphill by the very first obstacle, and from there the course turned into a relentless trail run over the roaring hills. The sun was already blazing, well over 30 degrees, and it only got hotter as the day went on. Decoded in 3 loops, the first 2 were identical and brutal, while the third was the shortest, but still packed a punch. We had 6 hours to complete the first one, 7 hours to complete the second one, and finally 2 hours to complete and finish the race. As I mentioned before, we were going for 52 kilometers, 70 obstacles, 3088 meters of elevation. That was everything you would expect. Crawling under barbed wire, carrying sandbags, climbing ropes, hauling heavy stuff up hills, monkey bars, walls, just one after the other. A mix of strength and technique challenges. Some parts of the trail were fast, flowing downhill through the Slovakian forests, which was actually pretty enjoyable. The heat definitely made everything tougher. You could feel it sucking the energy out of you between each obstacle. But physically, I felt good. I knew that I couldn't have been trained any better. The highest point of the race was at the peak, which was basically like an uphill, just going forward march against a ski slope. Not necessarily because it was technical, but just because of the length, the incline, and the sun constantly beating down on us with no shade. At this point, I saw people getting frustrated and shouting on the trail, crumbling, or just on the ground. We had 36 degrees on the trail, but I was thinking that I came so far for this, I'm not going to quit under any circumstances. Obstacle after obstacle, I finished with my first lap under precisely 4 hours, and it was time for the transitioning area. Most people were changing their clothes, refilling their supplements, some were stretching, etc. I packed up my protein slices, refilled my camo bag, and I was good to go for the second lap. I remember there was a guy who walked up to me and asked from me in Hungarian if I have painkillers, but unfortunately I didn't. If you're watching this, I hope you're okay, pal. Soaking wet, refilled, I carried on to do the exact same lap as the first one. Basically every single obstacles once again. Some difficulties occurred here whilst going downwards on the hills. My feet got sore and I had developed blisters. It was agonizing. Every step I took, I felt the sharp pain in both of my feet from that point on. For the second lap, the obstacles were easier to me. I could do the ones I couldn't in the first one. I always kept telling to myself, just enjoy it. Time was flying by pretty fast and the sun started to settle down a bit. At this point, the trail spread out and I kept going with the same 5 people for the next few hours. No one said a single thing to each other, you could only hear the boots on the ground, everyone was just hyper-focused. It was at this point when you could feel literally every single step you took. But still, I found it quite enjoyable. At times I was going completely alone in the forest, pushing through every single obstacle. I managed to finish my second lap under 5.5 hours. It was a bit more chilled, but the sharp pain was still present throughout for the rest of the race. One thing about Spartan races is that the inspectors are only able to see a fraction of the actual trail itself. Everything you see here is about 10% of the whole event. If you really want to know how it really is, you need to participate. Despite all of the struggle and misery, it is always worth at the end when you cross the finish line. My mindset was that I won't get to experience this again probably, and I just want to make the most out of it. We only live once, and that's for the higher goal. What came for the last round was a separated part of the track consisting loads of obstacles and one memory test, which was a combination we had to remember around the middle of the race based on our PIB numbers. I couldn't recall the number I have been assigned to precisely, therefore I had to do 30 burpees as a penalty. The combination of water-based obstacles left everyone soaked, creating a cold, uncomfortable layer of wet clothing. And with nightfall already upon us, the chill began to set in. Fortunately, I was already at the last phase. However, when we asked a member of staff, they said that there were more than 290 Spartans still out there. Officially, every Spartan had 3 hours to complete the last lap. I'm still wondering how many people could have finished it. Let's not forget that by this point everything was wet and muddy, making everything dangerously slippery. There were people struggling at certain obstacles for 20 minutes and so on, even getting hurt. Just like in most races, the number of obstacles increases toward the end. Probably for the spectators, I think. Everything hurt and felt heavy on my body, but still I didn't feel the same way I used to in my previous races. It's all thanks to our preparation with the Catalyst project. In the last 500 meters you can almost smell the fire at the finish line. It gives you that extra push. To be honest, I wasn't as tired as I expected to be. I loved it that the Spartan spirit was still there. We were helping and motivating each other no matter what. I climbed over the last obstacle, and every long run, every drop of sweat, misery and pain was about to fulfill its purpose in the next few seconds. I have successfully finished the Spartan Ultra Race under 11 hours, 51 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm happy with the time. They hung the medal around my neck. I didn't even realize that a 9 months long journey just ended. I basically couldn't believe it. I'm still processing it. I'm deeply grateful for this journey. Not just for the experience itself, but for the incredible people who made it possible. I cannot even begin to count the moments of support I received, both mentally and physically, from my athlete organization. I have finished with a great time and amongst the top 10 in my age category. Without the Catalyst project and my amazing coaches, this achievement wouldn't have been possible. It's an extraordinary team and community led by some of the most dedicated and inspiring coaches I've ever met. I'm especially thankful to my head coach, Dean. Your guidance meant everything, sir. I'm forever grateful. The Catalyst project showed me that nothing is impossible. I cannot recommend them enough. I'll leave their Instagram in the description. Go check them out. Forward.